Imagine walking through Pyongyang, where every building, every camera, and every face is watching you. In North Korea, nothing moves without the state's permission. But somewhere inside this fortress of control, men and women walked silently in the shadows, pretending to be aid workers, businessmen, or diplomats. They weren't there to admire the monuments or taste the food. They were operatives of the CIA, risking everything to uncover the world's most closely guarded secrets. And in a country where a single wrong step can mean torture, prison camps, or death, the stakes were unlike anywhere else on Earth. This is the untold story of CIA operatives in North Korea, how they entered, how they spied, how they got caught, and why their missions remain some of the riskiest in modern history. North Korea is often described as the hardest intelligence target in the world. Its borders are locked tight. Internet access is nearly non-existent. Foreigners are escorted everywhere by government minders. So how does the CIA even get in? Operatives often entered undercover, posing as journalists, aid workers, or members of neutral organizations. Some even crossed through China's porous border regions, disguising themselves as tourists. Once inside, their mission wasn't about James Bond-style action. It was about survival. Every movement was watched. Hotel rooms were bugged. Telephones were tapped. Even taxi drivers reported to the Ministry of State Security. To the regime, every American was already a spy. And sometimes, they were right. One operative later revealed in declassified reports, "You live every hour like it could be your last." Even buying bottled water can feel like a trap. The CIA's main interest in North Korea was simple but vital: nuclear weapons. Since the 1990s, the Hermit Kingdom had been racing toward building bombs. Satellite images gave part of the story, but only human intelligence could confirm the truth. Operatives sought answers to questions like, where were the nuclear facilities hidden? Who was supplying technology from abroad? How close were the missiles to reaching America's shores? But nuclear secrets weren't the only target. The CIA also wanted insight into the leadership itself. What was Kim Jong-un really like behind closed doors? Was he rational? Was he sick? Could he be overthrown? In the world of espionage, knowing the mind of a dictator can be more powerful than knowing the range of his missiles. Life as a spy in North Korea was unlike anywhere else. Operatives stayed in state-controlled hotels where portraits of the Kim family stared down from every wall. If they left their room, even for a walk, 2 guides followed. One agent recounted that his toothpaste tube had been moved an inch from where he left it, proof his belongings had been searched. Another discovered hidden microphones behind wallpaper. The trick wasn't to avoid surveillance completely, it was to make the surveillance boring. Operatives would walk the same routes every day, order the same meals, and appear obsessively polite. To slip away even for 5 minutes, they had to stage elaborate distractions. Contacts inside North Korea were rare and precious. A single meeting with a scientist or soldier could take months to arrange. Messages were often passed through dead drops, tiny packages hidden in public places, retrieved only when no one was looking. Sometimes, operatives smuggled information out in USB drives, hidden inside pens, shoes, or even candy wrappers. But one mistake could unravel everything. In 2012, an operative disguised as a European aid worker was nearly exposed. At a government dinner, an official casually asked him about a city in Europe where he claimed to have lived. The spy gave the wrong detail. The room fell silent. For a moment, he thought it was over. Then another guest laughed, changing the subject. Another case involved a CIA officer trying to photograph a restricted site. He hid a miniature camera inside a cigarette pack, but a soldier noticed the unusual way he held it. The operative barely escaped by handing over the pack and joking about American cigarettes being stronger than North Korean ones. Every mission was a gamble, and sometimes the gamble failed. The most terrifying fate for any spy in North Korea is capture. Unlike other countries, North Korea doesn't trade spies openly. It uses them as propaganda trophies. Several Americans were arrested over the years. Some were missionaries, some journalists, and others suspected operatives. They were paraded on TV, accused of crimes, and forced to confess under pressure. One CIA-linked informant was dragged from his hotel in the middle of the night. He was never seen again. His name was erased, his fate classified. Even when Americans were eventually released, the scars remained. Solitary confinement, endless interrogations, bright lights that never turned off, guards screaming day and night. For the CIA, these losses were devastating. But the risk never stopped the missions. Why risk so much? Because North Korea isn't just another dictatorship, it's a nuclear power with unpredictable leadership. Every scrap of intelligence can shape world policy. In 2017, CIA briefings about North Korea's missile capabilities directly influenced the US president's speeches and military planning. In one case, satellite photos combined with human intelligence revealed a secret test site weeks before launch. That allowed the US to prepare defenses. Sometimes, the operatives weren't just gathering secrets, they were sending messages. By proving the CIA could infiltrate even the most closed country on Earth, Washington reminded Pyongyang, "We are watching." Behind the shadow games, there's a brutal reality. CIA operatives had families back home, wives, children, parents, who had no idea where they were. Every mission carried the possibility of never returning. One declassified account described an operative who smuggled out photos of prison camps, emaciated prisoners, forced labor, barbed wire stretching to the horizon. When he returned, he couldn't sleep for weeks. Another spoke of the guilt of using innocent covers. Aid organizations, charities, even universities were sometimes used as CIA fronts. It helped missions succeed, but it also put real humanitarian workers at risk. For every success, there was a shadow of compromise. Today, many details of CIA operations in North Korea remain classified. Files are sealed. Names are erased. But what we do know paints a picture of one of the most dangerous espionage battlegrounds in the modern world. The operatives didn't wear tuxedos or drive Aston Martins. They wore cheap suits, ate bad food, and lived with constant fear. Their victories were quiet, sometimes just a photo, a conversation, or a single USB drive. But those victories changed the course of history, and even now, as North Korea continues its missile tests and cyber attacks, the CIA's eyes and ears remain. Somewhere right now, another operative is walking the streets of Pyongyang, smiling politely at their guides, hiding secrets under their calm expression. So the next time you hear about North Korea testing a missile or threatening the world, remember, there's an invisible war happening behind the headlines. A war fought not with tanks or planes, but with whispers, disguises, and courage in the face of unthinkable danger. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more true spy stories, and share this with someone who loves history and secrets as much as you do, because in the shadows of North Korea, the game of espionage never ends.